Go.
Okay. What's up, guys? It's Tyler. I'm back with another movie review. As you can see, I have Jacob with me again,
Hello.
but we also have another special guest on this review. Jacob, you want to introduce your guest that's with you?
Hello. Yes, this is my lovely girlfriend, Kristen. Kristen, say hi.
Hi.
I
She's
love the
shy.
simple
She won't be
hi.
too shy after we start talking some more. So
Yeah.
she's got
Well, I
some
love
good
how
input.
when you introduced yourself the first time you were on my channel, you gave this whole spiel about yourself, like what school, and like Kristen just goes, hi.
That is
Like,
true. It's
well,
very true.
honestly, I didn't expect you to do that on the
Oh,
first.
really?
I didn't expect you to do the whole spiel. I thought you were just gonna say hi, guys. You just went. Anyways, um, okay, so we're back with the Harry Potter series. This time we did the Chamber of Secrets book and the movie, which this one isn't one of my more favorite ones, mainly because there's giant spiders in it. So
Sissy.
not a
Thanks
not
for the reason.
I have arachnophobia. Stop making fun of my phobia. That's not nice. But no, it's a pretty good one though. I did like it overall. It's just not one of my favorite ones, just because of that. But yeah, so we talk about a book and the movie. We normally just like kind of talk about the movie and then we'll add in things from the book that maybe were not in the movie, which there's one of the scenes that was not in the movie that I wish they would have put in the movie. And we're gonna talk about that when we get to it. I was very disappointed in one of them. But so I guess we can get started. What?
Oh, I'm thinking about a part I wish was in the movie.
I
Okay,
wouldn't be
maybe it'll
surprised
be
if
the
we're all
same
thinking about
one.
the same part.
I'm gonna bet
Oh,
we're thinking about all different parts.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
okay, well let's see. So all right, well, we start out again with the Dursleys, our favorite American families, sarcastic.
Did you say American Family?
I was being sarcastic. I know they're British. I was just being
Excuse me.
sarcastic.
No.
No, I was being sarcastic. No, our our favorite family to hate, I'll say, because they are terrible people. They're getting ready for a dinner party and they're going over the routine, like how things are gonna go. Like the mom's gonna greet the family, the son is gonna take your coat, and then Harry is gonna pretend like he doesn't exist. And in the book, that was a longer conversation. They kind of
Yes.
shortened it in the movie, which I mean that
Mhm.
didn't really make too much of a difference. That wasn't too whatever. Not much to talk about with that scene. That's just kind of like introducing everything.
I was impressed at how closely it followed.
It was pretty close to the book. This movie was close to the book in a lot of ways, but there's some ways I was like, oh.
It was pretty close, but there was the one difference was that Hedwig was the one who freaked out the old lady. The cake wasn't dropped on her head.
No, it was the pudding. He dropped the pudding instead of the bird. Instead of
The bird still flew in her head, her husband was like, she has a great fear of birds. You outrageous
that's
people.
oh right. But Dobby did drop the pudding though as well in the book.
Oh, okay.
He did do that instead of the cake. It
Gotcha.
wasn't cake in the book though, which I think I actually preferred the cake in the movie. I preferred that. That was funnier.
I can see that is pretty funny. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. I'll give you this
So
one.
so while we're on the subject of Dobby, we meet Dobby, and Dobby's a fan favorite of the series. I love Dobby.
I'm gonna kill
Uh-oh.
Dobby.
I really don't
What?
like Bobby.
What? Okay, okay, I can see where y'all are coming from with Dobby. Dobby's I like him because he really does care about Harry. Like I do like it. I don't like the way he went about it because I mean, because he made Harry think his friends forgot about him because he intercepted all the letters. Like, because Harry was like, "Why haven't I ever heard from my friends?" Oh, it's because Dobby intercepted the letters. Like that's an asshole move. So I can see that, but
Stay closer. The volume is going in and out for you.
okay, now is it better?
That's better. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna just do it like this. Sorry, guys. Laptop technical difficulties. I need to get a new one. I think I'm gonna get a new one soon. But anyway, so we meet Dobby, and Dobby, warns Harry not to go back to Hogwarts because he said bad things are gonna happen. He doesn't say specifics, he just says bad things. And through a comical scene of events, Dobby starts banging his head, hits himself with the lamp, punishes himself for talking to Harry and telling Harry and insulting his family. Like, it's just it was funny, but it was also really cringy. I felt really bad for Dobby in that moment.
Yeah, I mean, Dobby, I think that whole reason is one of the reasons why I just don't like Dobby is just that it's not the fact that he wasn't trying to save that he was trying to save Harry, but it was like, can't you see that you're just completely going about this the wrong way and you're just making his life a hell of a lot worse, and you're not going to stop him from going to Hogwarts. It's like it's a lost cause, bro. Like the only way that you're going to be able to do it is kill him, basically.
I mean, he does. This doesn't come out till later, but like him being like, I'm the name, not trying to name you.
Exactly. He is trying to put an injury to him.
Oh yeah, when he sends the bludger after him. Like,
exactly.
Come on,
he's
Dobby.
just like, I don't know if it's because he's not human or if he's just not very.
It could be both.
He's just going to drastic
cultural thing.
He just goes to drastic measures. I think he's just. I don't know. He's being too over the top. But yeah, so they had that whole little thing. Uncle Vernon, of course, goes upstairs and says, "What the hell are you doing?" And fusses at Harry, whatever. And then we talked about this kind of already, but Dobby goes downstairs, and it's kind of different in the book. The book, like y'all said, the owl flies into the wife's hair and freaks her out, and he dumps the pudding. But in the movie, Dobby does the cake, and the cake falls, and they get mad at. Now, another difference is in the book, Harry gets a letter from Hogwarts after that saying that you performed a hovering charm. You're not allowed to do magic outside of school. And that's how the Dursleys find out he's not supposed to do magic. But in the movie, they never showed that.
They never showed that in the movie at all.
They never showed that in the movie.
Yeah.
It just went straight to Uncle Vernon locking the windows
Which is
in the movie.
unfortunate because that kind of sets it up for like future books. They use that.
Exactly.
It's true. Yeah. There's a lot of issues that happen in the future with that.
So I kind of wish that's not the scene I was talking about earlier, though. That's not the one I was talking about. The one I'm talking about comes up later. So let's see. So that all happens. And then, of course, Harry's laying in his bedroom, and here comes Ron and his brothers to rescue Harry to the rescue, which that whole thing was pretty funny, I would say. If y'all want to jump in, because I'm trying to give y'all, y'all want to.
Well, I mean, it's pretty much the similar. They're great. It's a jailbreak, basically. You see Uncle Vernon, right? Making sure I'm correct. Yeah, you see his fat butt fall from the what's it called? The top, the second story, and he's all stuck. Rah, 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 So I thought that was pretty dang funny. That's very similar to the book. There's no differences between that.
Yeah.
I think other than the fact that he called Petunia and Dudley to try to grab him while he was being dragged out the window, but in the movie they're staying behind and he just falls.
Yeah.
We were talking about this. It was like in the movie, there's probably about like 5 or 6 seconds to where Harry is just looking at the door for Uncle Vernon to open it up. And I'm like, dude, if you would have just
jump in the car.
It just goes.
It's like,
exactly. You're just like, come on. Like, you're just like, you can tell it's a movie, of course, but still you're like, bro, just run. Like, come on,
I do think I'm changing my opinion a little bit because I do need to wait for them to take this stuff and put it. Because it was like Hedwig's cage and it was like a suitcase.
Yeah.
You could have just like shoved everything and then shoved himself on top of it.
Yeah.
You had to wait for them to put it back so that
Interesting.
he could get in.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
But it does seem that way,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's very clear in the movie.
Yeah.
Because you're not really watching them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She makes a good point. She's
a smart cookie, y'all. I'm just letting you know. All right.
She's the smart one in that relationship.
Insight that me and his dummy minds can't bring out. So
Hold on a second. You are the dummy mind here. I am not the dummy mind. So let's look at that wrist up.
Duke says hello, everyone. So there we go.
Duke, what's up, Duke? So then we get to the Weasley's house.
Yes.
And let me just say, I love the Weasley family. I
Mhm.
absolutely love them, especially the mom. I love the mom. The mom is fantastic.
Yep.
Like the way she's like scolding them, and then she goes, "Hi, Harry. I know it's not your fault. You know, how about some breakfast?" Like I love that.
It's perfect.
It is. My mom, so my mom doesn't watch movies a lot, but whenever she would watch the Harry Potter series, every single time the Weasley house came on scene, she would stop everything that she was doing just to watch the Weasley house because of how fascinated and how much she loved it, you know.
Yeah.
And so she was like, I want magical knitting what are they called? The little needles. Yeah, like I want all that stuff. She's like, it's like it was her dream house, but almost. So
And I have to say that this scene in the book, Harry was at their house longer in the book than in the movie. In the movie, he was kind of there in a shorter time frame.
he was there in the book for what it seemed like about 2 to 3 weeks, I would say, before. In
Yeah.
the movie, he left the same day that he left the school
came
the same
there.
day.
Yeah, do they have the denoming in the book?
They had the gnoming in the book, they didn't have it in the movie.
Yeah.
Not in the movie, yeah. In the
Yeah.
book, it was not in the movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they were chunking them.
I wish I would have seen that. I wanted to see that.
So
That's still
this is a random fact, but so they made a Harry Potter Chamber of Secrets video game for PS2 for PlayStation 2, and when that was one of the missions that you had to do is you had to chunk the gnomes out of the Weasley garden, and they would bite you, and you would get knocked out because they had like poisonous biting or something like that. But that was like one of the missions that you had to do. So it was very difficult, I remember. But there was a video game for all you nerds out there. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
that is so cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. And then, you know, the dad comes and the dad, you know, first time meeting Harry and he's all awestruck. And I thought it was really funny. Like in the book, he asked Harry all kinds of questions about muggles, but in the movie, he just asked him, "What is the function of a rubber duck?" Like that's, and I'm like, that is so random. Why, of all the questions to ask Harry, why a rubber duck catches your interest?
Quack quack.
I feel like it's a very good. I feel like that's a good choice for the movie though, because you just saw this wizarding household for the first time, and then it's like in comparison, how different the Muggle world is. It's like he doesn't even know what a rubber duck does.
Exactly.
Yeah. Joke.
Yeah, it was like it's because he's like he looks at it and he's like, how do they function without all these magical capabilities, and so he's thinking that a rubber duck has some purpose for it to be functional for efficiency.
Yeah.
One of your favorite things to throw.
The fact that they don't have magic.
Exactly, and so he's thinking like, how can they move? What is the purpose of this duck? How does it become efficient? How does it productive?
Yeah.
And when all we really have is we have things for our entertainment.
Yeah.
But then George and Fred go into like making things for entertainment.
Oh yeah.
So like their job leader basically becomes like rubber ducks.
Exactly. Explosive rubber ducks.
Explosive.
Oh god. Yeah, and actually in the book, this is actually a difference in the book and the movie. We find out at the Weasley's house that Gilderoy Lockhart is going to be a professor at Hogwarts, and he's the famous Arthur.
Yes.
Like we didn't in the movie, we didn't find that out until they actually got to Diagon Alley.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a difference. And because they were, oh, mom fancies him, and the mom was like, shut up, I don't. And then they get the letters, and of course they do I love the scene where they go through the fire pit.
Oh yeah.
With the smoke. I love that scene.
What was the powder called? Flue powder.
Foo powder.
Yeah.
I would love to do that. That would be so fun.
Like the worst form of travel in the Harry Potter.
Diagonally.
Right, and then Harry says diagonally instead of Diagon Alley, so then that's why he messes up and goes into someone else's fire. And that's also a difference. In the book, when he does that, he spies on Malfoy and his dad. That's where we first see Malfoy and his dad in the book. That's a big difference.
Oh yeah.
Because in the movie we
get
didn't.
rid of what kind of material, babe? Do you see him get rid of?
Dark arts material?
There we go.
Wait, what?
Specifically.
It was so he was getting rid of things that were dark arts that were illegal that you weren't supposed to be having in your home because there have been a lot of house raids.
Which ties into what they said earlier in the book and the movie.
Exactly.
There's a lot of raids.
There's been a lot of raids.
Well.
Yeah. So like because Mr. Weasley was also raiding a lot of people's houses for cursed muggle objects. He didn't want to get caught with a dark object because of the amount of raids that have been happening into these people's homes. So he was trying to get rid of it so he wouldn't lose his position and all that stuff. And yeah.
Yeah, and then let's see. Then Harry goes into a really sketchy alley, and these witches, these really weird. They were so weird, and like they were just like, "Are you lost, dear? Why don't you come with us?" And he was like, "What?" And then Harry, what are you doing down here? Like
Hagrid saves the day.
Thank you for Hagrid. I love Hagrid. Hagrid's one of my favorites too. I love him. He was a fan favorite of the whole series too, though. Hagrid was definitely. And then Hagrid's walking. Hagrid said he was like, what was it he was looking for? I forget what he was called.
Flesh-eating slug repellent.
Yep.
There you go. That's what it was. That
they were eating the cabbages.
That's right. They were eating the cabbages. So we meet Hagrid, and then Harry meets Hermione again. And I love the opening scene where Hermione goes, "Really, you broke your glasses again?" And she's like, "Oculus Reparo." Like, again. That was a good flashback to the first movie. That was good. And then they're reunited with the Weasleys in the store, and they meet my least favorite character in the movie, which is Gilderoy Lockhart. I hated him so much.
He's your least favorite.
I don't like him. He's so egotistical, and he's a fraud.
You don't find him? I think he's very amusing.
Okay, yes, he's amusing, but he's also egotistical and a fraud. I'm just saying. I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan.
I shouldn't be defending him right now.
Well, Tyler, you want to know something cool about the actor for Gilderoy Lockhart?
What?
He was the detective in another movie series that we were watching.
Wait, he was Hercule?
Hercule.
What?
Yep.
Oh my god, I would. Huh?
Yep, that was your.
He doesn't look like him. He doesn't.
I know.
That's so weird.
Yeah, he's a very good actor. We heard the rumor that he had also produced the movie for Harry Potter. So we looked up the actor, but
you thought he essentially cast himself.
Exactly.
He was producing the movie.
Oh.
You know what? I want to be Gilderoy Lockhart.
Exactly. But it turned out that he wasn't, but all the other movies he produced that he did, like Murder on the Orient Express and what was the other one that we watched?
Death on the Nile.
Huh?
No, Death on the Nile.
Death on the Nile, and we watched the Murder on the Orient Express. We didn't the new one. There wasn't a new, and then there were none. Correct.
And then there were none. Yeah, no, that he didn't produce that one. That was black and white. We watched.
Yeah.
And I will say the actor did a really good job portraying him. I just didn't like the character. I just wasn't a huge fan. Krysten, if you want to defend him, go ahead. Go ahead and defend him.
Well, it's funny because as I'm sitting here trying to defend him, I was like, I feel like I'm falling into the trap of the book where all the women are fawning over him. And I'm like, I really don't want to be in that category. So I'm gonna kick that down the.
That a girl. Stay strong.
Yeah, plus you're by your boyfriend. So it's not a very. So then both in the book and the movie is similar. He sees Harry and is like, "Oh, Harry Potter," and then he forces Harry to take a picture of it with him and makes a big deal out of Harry and says he's getting a signed copy of my book and all my works, and just And Mrs. Weasley, of course, is like fangirling over him because she's, like as Kristen said. What? You made
Oh,
a face.
I'm thinking of the next upcoming part, but I think in the book he gives those books to Ginny,
Yes.
right?
Harry Potter gives the books to Jenny because
Right, but Lockhart gives them to Harry first.
Correct.
And then Harry gives them to Ginny. Yeah.
Yes.
But then in the movie, Harry gives them to Miss Weasley, not Ginny. Or Miss Weasley takes
in the movie. I remember. I think Mrs. Weasley takes it to get him signed.
Yes.
That's what I was about to say.
holds
She
on
took
to
them.
We never hear if he actually like kept them.
No, it never
classes?
clarifies or anything.
I mean, it'd be
No, it
funny
never-
if they mentioned that like his school, like his Prince Against the Dark Arts, all had signed copies.
Yeah.
Like, super elaborate on the front, so he couldn't get away from it.
Well, it's funny because his textbooks for that term, for that class, were those books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like those were his textbooks. So
Mhm.
that was weird that he basically got 2 sets of them because he already bought, So then we meet Draco in the movie. This is when we first encounter Draco in the movie in that
Correct.
store. And then Draco comes and they have this whole exchange of like Malfoy is blasting Harry for being famous and not being able to walk into a bookstore without commotion. And then his dad comes in and starts shading everyone, saying that, oh, your scar is so legendary, as is the wizard who gave it to you. And Harry, of course, says, well, he killed my parents. He's a murderer. And he says the name Voldemort, and then Lucius says, that's his name, by the way. Lucius Malfoy is his name. And Lucius says, you must be so foolish to say his name. And then Hermione said, I love this line from Hermione. Fear of the name only increases the fear of the thing itself. I love that line.
It's a good line.
That's a pretty good line. It's a pretty good line. And then he goes on to insulting the Weasley's family, saying they're blah, blah, and of course, the dad comes up and they have this whole exchange of what disgraces wizardry. This is the scene I wish they would have included in the movie.
Oh, okay. Okay, I was thinking of something different. All right.
Wait, is it the same one?
I think where Arthur Weasley and Lucius Malfoy get into it.
Well, in the book, they actually physically fight in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the movie, they didn't. And
that just makes a lot of sense. I would love to see it.
Fight.
Well,
She doesn't condone violence half the time, but this time she wanted to see it. This is weird.
I wanted to see Lucius get his ass whooped. I wanted it. I wanted.
Get his hair misplaced.
Yeah.
I know. We were so. We got cheaped out on that one.
Yeah.
We got cheaped out on that one.
Agreed.
We got cheaped
out.
People
want to pull them back. I'm like, I want to see 2 wizards.
Hagrid was the one who broke them up.
Because in the book, yes.
Coming off him after he tackled him, and he literally had him up on the bookshelves, and Malfoy was like, oh.
Yeah, no. That's the scene I was talking about. That's the one I really wish they would have kept in the movie.
I'm curious. You'll have to bring it up later.
Yeah.
What you were thinking.
Yeah.
Wait, was that not the scene y'all were thinking?
That was not my scene that I was thinking.
Was that what you were thinking, Krysten?
That is what I was thinking.
Okay, so Jacob has a different one then.
I have a different one, yeah.
Okay. Well, also you guys, it's funny that so sometimes when me and Jacob disagree on a lot of things, me and Kristen actually will agree on a lot of things that me and Jacob disagree on. It's really funny.
I remember when you came and visited last time, y'all freaking tag team on me.
It looks like we gang up.
That's what it's like the majority of the time. I'm like,
yeah, no, we poor Jacob, we gang up on him sometimes.
Y'all mean.
So, okay, look, dude, best friend and girlfriend privileges. We get to be mean to you.
Who said you're about best friend?
You did multiple times, you jackass.
I'm kidding.
Okay, so Now, okay, remind me what happens because my memory is what happens after the fight? Like what happens after that one?
After the fight, they get pulled off each other, and then everyone starts going to. They start to go through platform 9 3/4, but
Oh yes.
it
Go
got
ahead.
blocked. And so this was something that we both had mentioned, that how irresponsible was it that the Weasley parents, Arthur and Molly Weasley, went in before Harry and Ron as parents. You gotta wait for all the kids to go first, and then the parents go. Because
that's a good
and
that's a good point.
They left, and then they got on to Ron and Harry about not being at the for taking the car and missing the thing, for missing the train.
Yeah.
It's like if you would have just waited.
Because I feel like that's a very I don't want to say classic expectation of parents is like all your kids go in front of you so that you see where they're going.
Exactly.
And they don't do that.
Yeah,
okay, but wait. Okay, but hold on though. I actually loved when Ron got the howler. That was funny. I'm sorry. I thought it was funny.
We're not distracting from that point, but we're still stating a fact of how irresponsible they were at that one point. Or at least
I actually never thought of it like that, but I actually do agree that that was kind of irresponsible. Now, and it's funny because typically their parents are very responsible. Typically, in the movies, and they're very on it. Like, so I think that was one little maybe lapse of judgment they have.
You're probably right.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's one of the only moments.
I'm not saying they're bad parents.
Yeah, no.
Not at all. So they get blocked, and then Harry and Ron, of course, as we just mentioned, they take the car to Hogwarts and they fly and it's invisible. I would have been terrified and having fun at the same time. Like I don't know.
I think in the book, there's actually a small part where it mentions that they're like eating snacks on the way. Like they're having a blast.
They're having a great time.
Right. And the movie though, it looked more terrifying.
Yeah.
They were because they were trying to race to get there in time.
Yes.
And did they have an encounter with a train in the book at all?
I don't feel like they did. I feel like they showed up at Hogwarts without ever seeing it. I feel like they added the train part to the movie to make it kind of dramatic.
I think you're right.
And in the movie,
so how on earth did they get to Hogwarts?
What?
How did they know the way to Hogwarts?
That's actually, I never thought of that either. I didn't think of that either.
Exactly, and they just go.
Because I don't think GPS was invented back then, so they wouldn't have had a GPS. Like I've never thought of that.
I never thought about it until this last time listening, and I was like, wait a minute, these are like two 12-year-olds.
Exactly.
And they've only been to Hogwarts once by the Hogwarts Express, so they wouldn't have known the way.
And Hogwarts Express isn't like, it's not like they can just like jump over and suddenly view the train pathway suddenly. Like it's in a different place, right? So
well, I guess in the movie it kind of makes sense because in the movie they come across the trains. I guess they just kind of follow the train in the movie, and I guess that's how they knew the way. But even before that you're right. That is actually a really good point. That's a really good point. Never thought of that. And then they come across the Whomping Willow, and the Whomping Willow. That's fun.
Crap out of that car.
Yes. Beats the crap out of it. They're ejected. I thought it was really funny how the car like ejected him in the movie that just drove off like it was pissed. I thought that was really funny. And then they get into Hogwarts, and this is actually a difference in the book and the movie. In the book, they go into the sorting ceremony before Snape gets on them. And in the movie, right when they enter the school, they get caught. It was Filch, and Filch brings them to Snape, and then Snape fusses at him. So that was kind of a difference.
Yeah.
In the movie as well. But I don't think that was a huge
thing.
I'm going to defend Snape on this one because I feel like in the book he was a lot more reasonable. than he was in the movie.
I will say, I
Yeah,
thought
refresh
Snape
my
was,
memory.
I thought Snape was reasonable too. I thought he was. In this moment, yes, I would have been really mad if I was him too, because that was,
Oh
you know,
yeah,
it was
you almost exposed the whole realm of your kind. You know, that makes sense. Yeah, okay, I remember what you're talking about now. I was confused for a second. Sorry.
now. I don't think expelling them was the right. I mean, he wanted to expel them. I thought that was a little extreme. Like maybe not expel them.
But I think he's the one that basically says like we have to go get McGonagall because she has to handle it.
Right, and I thought McGonagall's consequence was more reasonable. Like
Yeah.
they just get detention. I thought that was reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
McGonagall is a very reasonable. She's strict, but she's reasonable. Like
Snape still rocks.
I'm sorry, McGonagall is my favorite professor. Book and movies. I love her. I love her.
She's
She's good.
So and then Dumbledore, of course, Dumbledore is very calm, and you know, I think in the book it says he's disappointed, but like you know, he hears them out, and you know, so they get detention later in the movie, which funny enough, I they both get detention, but they only show Harry in detention with Lockhart.
Yes.
That's weird. Because Ron, so I don't know if Ron got a different detention, maybe.
I can see them and splitting them up so they wouldn't have fun.
Yeah, but they never showed Ron in his detention though. They never showed the difference.
Well, in the movie they don't at all, but because there was nothing that you don't really see anything in the book either. There's the book either about him being in detention, other than the fact that he's throwing up slugs half the time and cleaning with Filch.
Oh, he's cleaning with Filch?
Yeah, he's cleaning with Filch.
Okay, so like at least there's a mention of like what he's doing for instance.
Exactly.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
there is. Okay,
I would not
I
wanna
probably
see
missed that
Filch.
part.
Yeah, so he was shining all the like awards and everything with Filch in the book, and he was throwing up slugs at the same time. So
because he sees the special awards
for
Tom Riddle.
Later on.
Because he was polishing it and he's like, who's this dude, Tom Riddle?
Exactly. And he had it cleaned like 6 times because he kept throwing up slug guts on it. So
Yep. So let's see. They have the punishment scene. Then what happens after that? I'm getting up. My memory is kind of fogged right now. What's the next scene? So we just left the office where McGonagall said they're gonna get detention. And then after that, is it the Quidditch practice scene?
I think Quidditch practice started showing up, correct?
Because Oliver Wood is nuts.
Exactly. Yeah. So it was basically them about getting everything suited for practice, and then Snape had given permission for the Slytherins to come in and train their new Seeker, and
Malfoy.
Their new Seeker is it's Draco Malfoy, and the whole Slytherin team comes in with brand new brooms. And Tyler, I'll let you take it from here.
Oh no, because this is one of my favorite lines in this entire movie. And it's from Hermione when she looks at the Slytherins and she goes, at least no one on the Gryffindor team had to buy their way on the team. They got it on pure talent. I love that.
It's a great line. And you see Draco Malfoy, that's when he gets mad and calls Hermione a mudblood. Which later.
Sorry, go ahead.
And I said, which we later figure out is basically the derogatory term for wizard people that were born from Muggle-born families.
Which I actually felt really bad for Hermione in that moment. That was an asshole move. Like that was not deserved.
Yeah.
That was shitty.
I do. Okay. I like the book better in this instance because when she's called it, I don't think she actually knows what it is yet. And in the book, Ron's the one that explains what mudblood means.
Yeah, Ron was the one who did the majority of the explaining in the books for a lot of the things.
Which I think makes sense because he would be the one with he grew up as a wizard.
Yeah, he's of a pure blood family.
Yeah, so he would know the words they use. He'd be more familiar with the culture. So like to me, I wish they kept that the same in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I still like how they kept in the fact that Ron defended Hermione. And
Well,
like,
that was whenever he told him to eat slugs, and that was
and then it
when
backfired.
one thing that we had missed in the Whopping Willow portion. I'm not sure if I'm kind of going back and forth between two things, so I do apologize. That Ron's wand broke whenever the flying car came in wrecked with the Whopping Willow. So he told Draco to eat slugs, and this is the first instance that we see, everything's backfiring on Ron with his broken wand. And so what we talked about earlier, eat slugs and cleaning and all the detention and stuff, this is why Ron is throwing up and he knows Tom Riddle's name in the future because he has to clean it so many dang times.
Yeah. But then they're in Hagrid's hut after that. And then they're in Hagrid's hut.
Mhm.
And, Hagrid asks what happened, and they tell Hagrid about Malfoy calling her a mudblood. And Hagrid, he consoles Hermione and says, it doesn't matter. She's like one of the best witches in the school, and she's very advanced, so it doesn't matter that she's mudblood, which is true. It's true. She's one of the best witches of her age. She really is.
Yeah.
So, screw Malfoy. Screw what Malfoy said.
Sure.
But Malfoy just doesn't like to be called out. So, and then, okay, I think after that, it's when they go into Lockhart's class for the first time. I think so.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
And the pixies come out and destroy everything. And
oh my God.
And you start to get a sense of Lockhart. Why isn't Lockhart doing something? That's when the first question starts to pop up to mind. You see him not doing everything correctly, that living up to his name. Like, wait a second, that should have been such a simple thing for you to fix,
Yeah, and then I think because it was oh wow. It was Hermione that what spell did she use? She used a spell and it stopped them. It stopped them in midair and froze them. And I'm thinking like, really, dude, you're supposed to be the professor?
Immobilis?
Yeah.
Oh.
Immobilis, that's what it was. And then I'm like, really, Lockhart? Like, you're supposed to be this famous guy who done all these things. You can't even stop a bunch of pixies that you let them loose. Like,
it's pretty bad. He's got to be a pretty bad wizard.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. Hold on. I'm blanking because like it's such a long movie and a long book. I'm trying to think of what. I think the next thing is, wasn't it her biology class where they had the little plant things that screamed?
Yes, I believe so.
That noise is annoying. I hated that.
Probably a little bit intentional because it's supposed to be able to make you pass out, right?
Yeah, when they get older, it can kill you. The streak is supposed to kill you.
Okay, so I thought it was.
Yeah.
I thought they could kill them even when that's small, or was it when they get older?
It knocks you out whenever they're that young because they haven't fully grown yet.
Okay.
And that's why they keep told to put the muffs on their head, because as it gets older, it'll kill you. But if you remember Neville in the movie, and maybe it was someone else in the book, I can't remember. They didn't put on their muffs tight enough, and when they grabbed it, one of them passed out because the shriek knocked them out. Duke, stop that.
And Duke, I love Duke. I miss Duke so much.
He's a good boy.
No more.
Okay, so I think the next thing that happens in the movie, at least, is is it the scene where Filch's cat is hanged and there's blood on the walls that says the Chamber of Secrets has been opened again.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Filch walks out, sees Harry and Ron next to his cat. He blames Harry. He thinks Harry did it. And actually, what's funny in that, Snape actually defends Harry and them. He says they were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. I mean, he kind of said they were suspicious, but he mostly defended them.
It's a half defense.
Yeah.
I feel like this both the book and the movie do a good job of showing how terrible their justice system is.
Oh yeah.
Like they're literally found within 4 feet. No, like obviously, like prime suspects.
Exactly.
12-year-old.
Uh-huh. It's like they don't. I will say, however, Harry, Ron, and Hermione have the worst luck at being at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Because
So
one of go ahead.
this is like, oh, this led me into my other part that I was talking about. So the cat being frozen. In the book, this is a big difference because in the movie, they're coming from after it happened after the pesto or the pixies and everything and all that stuff. But in the book, Harry, Ron, and Hermione are coming from the death party of nearly headless Nick.
That's true.
And that
That's
whole
true.
death party, that whole thing is cut from the movie. All right.
It is.
And in that part of the book, that's where we meet Moaning Myrtle. We see Peeves again. We see the headless horseman party coming in. We discover what are the criterias for nearly headless Nick to get in and why he's not being allowed in. You hear all the other stuff that's going on. So this whole scene gets fully wiped out. And this is why he missed lunch, he missed dinner, was because he went to this party. And so when he came across Professor Filch's cat, this is why Snape.
They've been gone for hours.
Exactly. He says, I can't believe the fact that y'all have been gone for hours and you haven't gotten hungry at all. That is quite suspicious,
Like, there's nothing to eat at a death day party for people.
Exactly. Yeah. So
also, we did actually skip a part. We skipped the part where Ron got the howler when they first got back to the.
We talked about that a little bit, but
I know, but I think it's also funny how after it yells at Ron, it goes and falls apart. Also, that's okay. Moaning Myrtle, by the way. Oh my god,
she's annoying. She's the perfect.
She's like, okay, Lockhart is here. Moaning Myrtle is like a little above him. Not by much though.
Like above as in more annoying or a little better?
I like Moaning Myrtle a little bit better than Lockhart. Okay. Just a little
bit. I would put
bit.
Moaning Myrtle and then Dobby.
So let's see. And then so that whole thing happens, and then they get into they're in McGonagall's class and they're doing transfiguration.
Yes.
They're turning something into goblets, and then I thought that was a pretty cool magic trick. That was a pretty good trick. And then of course Ron tries to do it and his wand's broken, so his cup has a tail, which was pretty funny. And that's when Hermione asked McGonagall, can you tell us about the Chamber of Secrets? And then McGonagall.
Difference in the book. McGonagall wasn't the one who told him about the Chamber of Secrets. It was a dead professor that was teaching his history of magic.
That's so true.
Mm-hmm.
It was. I preferred the movie version.
Like, you just prefer McGonagall.
Yes, I was gonna say that. It's because I prefer McGonagall. But
no,
no.
You're biased.
I think it's funny that the professor in the book, Professor Benz, he gets annoyed because people are far more interested in like the thing than.
Yeah, this is the first time he's ever been asked a question, and he's like, "Oh," and then he's trying to divert back, but he's getting annoyed by the fact that something else has grabbed their attention.
Yeah, it's not just because I like McGonagall better. I just preferred it.
Sure.
But I do. No, I'm being honest here. And then she goes into the whole, the Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, Salazar, Slytherin, like all their names. And we actually mentioned this in the previous review, how those four were based on the Narnia kids. Like J.K. Rowling actually kind of loosely based the personalities on them. So that was actually pretty cool. But and then McGonagall just tells him the Chamber of Secrets is home to a monster, and the heir of Slytherin, because Salazar Slytherin wanted to kill all Muggleborns. Like he didn't want the Muggleborns to be in the Wizarding world. Like he wanted only purebloods. And so,
Right.
and then the heir of Slytherin is meant to finish his work. And then, of course, Ron, Hermione, and Harry all say, well, the heir of Slytherin must be Draco. And they think Lucius was the one that set the monsters loose, and that Malfoy is the heir of Slytherin. Is there? Which I mean, I can see why they would think that at first. I could see why. Because Draco is, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think they chose Draco because they don't like him. That is purely the reason I think they focused on Draco.
Well, it is a childish kind of thought. You go to the first person but also I would say they are slightly justified because it said, his response when Filch's cat was dead said, "Your next mudbloods."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it it made him a suspect in some way, but at the same time, it's like, you think that Draco Malfoy would be so powerful, and he would brag about it. It's like
a 6th year.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like they chose. They're like, who's the evilest person we know?
Exactly.
And they're like, it must be him.
Well, and they also said, who do we know that hates Muggles? Like they like, who do we know that hates Muggles and purebloods are superior? And Malfoy did fit that bill. Like he does fit that bill. So but I do understand, like, they could have put more thought into it. But I think because that's when they get the Polyjuice plan. Like Hermione comes up with the Polyjuice plan, so Harry and Ron can turn into Crabbe and Goyle and kind of just infiltrate Draco and find out if Draco's the heir of Slytherin. And then they find out he's not the heir of Slytherin because Draco says he doesn't know who it is. So
and
they found
evidently he's told that to one of them multiple times.
Wait, what?
He's told that to one of them multiple times. I've already told you this. I don't know who it is, and if I wish I did.
So that does make their thought more like defensible, because even his own friends were like, so.
Exactly.
Chamber of Secrets.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. So. And then of course Hermione's supposed to turn into that girl. Actually, in the book, before they do the Polyjuice, there's the duel class. Lockhart does the dueling club, and then Snape is demonstrating, and him and Snape, and of course Snape whoops his ass in the duel. Like that's pretty funny. Both in the book and the movie, he,
Yeah.
and then, but the difference with that scene in the book is that in the book they actually pair up more students together in the duel. In the movie, they just show Draco and Harry dueling. That's one of the other differences. But in the movie scene and in the book, when Draco and Harry duel, they, are supposed to only disarm each other by Expelliarmus, but then they end up actually doing other spells. And that's when, Draco does a spell that releases a snake.
Mm-hmm.
And Harry, unbeknownst to Harry, he doesn't even know he's doing this, but he starts speaking in Parseltongue. And it looks like he's egging the snake on to attack that. I don't know what the kid's name is, but one of the Hufflepuffs. I know he's a Hufflepuff, but I don't know his name. Justin. I think it's Justin. Justin
something. Yeah.
Yeah, Justin. And then
I think you're right.
What is Finchley? Is that right? No. Maybe
yeah,
not.
I know. I think you're right. So then, they all give Harry dirty looks because they think Harry was egging the snake on, but Harry was like, no, I was telling it to stop.
Well,
but they couldn't understand it.
I think Jacob pointed out to me earlier that in the book, he has the snake actually leave the room, and Snape doesn't handle it.
Yes. So Snape never handles it in the book. In fact, it doesn't even in the book, in the movie, it's harder to explain for sure. But in the book, it shows Harry, he thinks that he's just saying leave it alone, in regular English when he is actually speaking parcel tongue.
Yeah.
In the book, he's very aware that he's speaking parcel tongue. Like he didn't in the movie, he's very aware that he's speaking parcel tongue. It's like he knew that he spoke something else.
In the movie?
In the movie, yeah, that's what it
No.
sounds like. I didn't know that.
He doesn't know it's partial tongue, but he knows he's.
No, because he says, remember, he says, I was speaking a different language. Like he didn't know he was doing that in the movie. He said that.
I could have sworn he said that because Ron said, I didn't know you could speak parcel tongue. He says, what are you talking about? He said, you can talk to snakes. He goes, oh yeah. He says, I don't. Before, but he never said anything else about it. He never. He said, but he never said that he was speaking that he didn't know that he was speaking that language, or like he didn't know that he was speaking something else.
So I think what Harry meant by that was, I think that he knows he can talk to snakes, but I don't think that he's aware that it comes out as a different language. I think he thinks it sounds like English, like everyone can hear what he's saying. Because he told Harry and Hermione, he goes, you were there. You heard me tell the snake to stop. Like he thinks it sounds like English when he's talking to the snake. He doesn't realize.
It wasn't in the movie, I thought.
Yes, it was in the movie though. In the movie he says.
They ask him, they're like, I'm supporting you. They ask him like, what did you say? He's like, you heard me.
Okay.
Like, I think.
All right, it's 2 against 1. I give up. It's happening again.
No, but because he says in the movie, he says, wait, I was speaking a different language?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's confused. So
Gotcha.
yeah. But anyway, so that's the whole thing. And so now everyone at Hogwarts thinks that Harry's the heir of Slytherin now. Because they think he's a parcel dog and he's talking to snakes. Which is ridiculous that they use that to
Justice system. Terrible justice system.
Yes, terrible justice. Well, the adults don't blame Harry. In fact, one of the things I think we skipped was when it was after Filch's cat. No. It was after Justin was found petrified. And then everyone thinks Harry did it because they thought Harry was egging the snake on. And then when he was in Dumbledore's office, Hagrid busts in and goes, Dumbledore, he didn't do it. And Dumbledore actually raises his voice and says, Hagrid, I don't think he did it.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, okay. It's so funny. And then the Polyjuice happens and Hermione was supposed to turn into that girl. And in the book, she says when she was dueling the girl, she got the hair off the girl. Or she supposedly got the hair off the girl. But then it turned out she ended up with the cat hair. And that's why she turned into a big old cat, and in the movie, that's when we first meet Moaning Myrtle.
Right.
And Moaning Myrtle is just
annoying.
Yeah, she's just. I'm not a huge fan of Moaning Myrtle.
She does.
Mm-hmm.
See, was there anything really, really relevant in the next couple scenes? Like, because they still pretty much stuck the same.
I know, I'm struggling to think of what happened next, but I think the next big scene is the Quidditch scene where they're playing Quidditch, and that's when the bludger starts chasing Harry around.
Yes.
And Harry's trying to dodge the bludger, and he ends up, I think he catches the snitch,
but then he falls off. But he falls. So because the bludger. He starts, so basically what happened is that they're doing a nosedive down to the field, the actual playing ground, him and Malfoy are. And Malfoy plays shaken or gets scared and pulls up. And so Harry then gets on his broom like he's surfing or skateboarding and he's reaching out for it. And right when he grabs the snitch, that's when the bludger hits his arm.
Yes.
And he breaks his arm, which leads us and he falls and they see that he's caught it. But the bludger's still attacking him. Boom, boom, boom. It's hitting him left and right. So everyone can see that the bludger has been messed with. And so then Hermione comes in and saves the day and blows up the bludger. Yay, Hermione. And then
That was badass.
Yeah, it was great. Then you see Harry with the broken arm, and Gilderoy comes in, and you hear Harry go, "Oh God, please no!" Basically, and boom, Harry's bones gone. But in the book, that was such a short scene because, like, literally, like the next page, his bones are back. There was nothing. It was really not like. It wasn't really like dove into in the book, but in the movie, it was such a longer. It was such a longer thing.
Yeah, because in the movie he goes into the hospital wing after that in the movie, and Madame Pomfrey is like, "You're in for a rough night."
Yeah,
and then that's when Dobby comes back.
Exactly.
And then Dobby, again we find out Dobby meddled again because Dobby's the one that blocked off the gate to the train, Hogwarts Express.
9¾
Yes, and then he's the one that sent the blunder after Harry in the Quidditch game. So it's like I know he means well, like his intentions are good, but he's going about it in all the wrong ways.
He's causing all the issues.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's causing more harm than good. So, and then, they have the whole thing. And then Colin Creevey is found petrified. They bring him into the hospital wing. He's not petrified. And then Dumbledore confirms with the other professors that the Chamber of Secrets has indeed been open again.
Correct.
And then he says Hogwarts is no longer safe. And then they come up with these restrictions that the students have to be escorted to every one of their classes by a teacher. They have a curfew now. I think 6 o'clock. I think it's the curfew, or 7, like a really early curfew. And and then that's, I think, when. So after all that, I think, oh God, what happens? I'm forgetting.
This is a long movie, and this video is going to be a heck of a lot longer. I'm just saying, because normally we've been done with the review by now. We're only halfway through it.
Okay, so let's kind of speed it up a little bit. So they the next thing I remember is they go to Hagrid's hut under an invisibility cloak, and what happens is Dumbledore comes and what's his name? Minister of Magic. God, what's his name?
Cornelius Fudge.
Fudge. He basically tells Hagrid has to go to Azkaban because apparently Hagrid supposedly or was accused of letting out the monster 50 years ago.
Yes.
And that's when, yep. Because Harry did the diary, Tom Riddle's diary.
Yes.
And the diary showed him that scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lucius Malfoy shows up and says Dumbledore's now suspended because the ministry wanted. I don't know. I never got that. That was such a stupid. That was so stupid. Like, why did they suspend
justice system?
Yes. So anyways, so after that, yeah, and then they find out. Then the next big thing that happens is they find out that Ron's sister Ginny has been taken into the chamber. Like she disappeared. Like she has been taken into the Chamber of Secrets.
We are missing the whole spider scene.
Yeah.
No, that happens. The spider scene happens after, I think, or no.
No. It's a spider scene because when Hagrid's leaving and getting taken to Azkaban, he's like, follow the spiders.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then the spider scene happens. They meet. Yeah, he's just scared of spiders. That's why he skipped the scene.
Shut up, Jacob.
But
yeah,
we
go ahead.
That Hagrid through the spider scene that Hagrid was innocent. Then we just kind of speeding things up over here. Aragog, gives the whole story of what happened. He's about to tell. He tells him that it wasn't Hagrid and that he didn't kill Myrtle at all. But then that the creature that did kill the girl, Myrtle, is a creature that they're terrified to speak of. So then they try to escape. The whole spider horde comes after them. The car comes and saves their lives again, and then after it spits them out, it runs back into the woods. So then that happens. So then we discover that Moaning Myrtle is the girl that got killed. So they go and ask Moaning Myrtle how she died, and she explains that she saw a big pair of white or bright yellow eyes, and this is when Hermione gets caught. It gets petrified. Yeah.
And also, she said that Moni Myrtle said, I think it was in the book. She said it was a boy. No, in the movie though, it was a boy's voice talking, and we find out that that was Tom Riddle that was telling the basilisk to attack Myrtle when she was like, Tom Riddle was doing that.
Correct.
And then Hermione's petrified, and then basically what happens, major thing that happens is Harry and Ron go find Lockhart. They tell him they have to go to the chamber. Lockhart's trying to run away because and expose that he's actually a fraud and has done nothing that he's said in his books, that he stole that from other wizards. And then Harry disarms Lockhart with the Expelliarmus, takes his wand, and they basically force Lockhart to go with him to the chamber. And then they get to the chamber and they enter, and basically Lockhart tries to erase their memories, but he uses Ron's wand and it backfires.
Yeah.
And then he loses his memory. And then Harry goes to the chamber.
Now, I also want to point this out. We talked about this in the during the movie and in the book. In the book, I don't know if this happens. I can't remember. But before they go down to the Chamber of Secrets, Moaning Myrtle tells Harry, if you die, you can share my toilet. So he has a little crush on him. Mind you, in the book, Moaning Myrtle was supposed to be a 5th year or a 6th year student by then. And Harry is only what do we think? 12. Like 12? He's like 12. Moaning Myrtle is a cougar.
But she died at a young age, so her ghost would stay the same age. The ghost wouldn't age.
But still, she was the 5th year at the school that at the
I
time
know.
that she died.
He's still like 15.
Yeah, 15, 16, and Harry's 12.
True. So then Harry sees Ginny lying there. Tom Riddle walks out, and basically we had this conversation, and Tom Riddle spells out his whole name in the air, Tom Marvolo Riddle, and it goes, he unscrambles it and says, I am Lord Voldemort. And that was always really cool to me, that scene where the letters unscramble and it says I am Voldemort. That was always really cool.
I can't get away from how dramatic he is.
Wait, what?
I can't get away from like how dramatic Voldemort is. To like,
very dramatic.
Go and like take your name and be like, all right, we're just gonna scramble this and come up with something.
And then the basilisk, of course, comes out. Oh, well, the Dumbledore. Oh, we didn't even talk about Dumbledore's phoenix. Well, Dumbledore has his phoenix that comes in and gives Harry the sorting hat and the sword.
Fox.
And
Fox. The phoenix is Fox's name.
Yes. And Harry fights the basilisk, and while he's fighting and stabbing it, his arm got cut on the fang. And the poison is injected into him. And Tom Riddle is saying, you're going to die now. Or Voldemort. I'm just calling Voldemort. Says he's going to die. But then the phoenix cries. And earlier in the movie and the book, we know that a phoenix's tears have healing powers.
Correct.
So when the phoenix cries on Harry's wound, it heals it so he does not die. And then Harry takes the fang and stabs it into the diary, and then Voldemort is defeated once again. And then Jenny wakes up, and Jenny has no idea. Like, she had no idea what she was doing. She was being, was it hypnotized? Was she hypnotized, or was she?
In the movie, he called it a trance. So I feel like she was almost like using her body.
Yeah. Because she was writing in the diary so much that it basically like overcame her in some way. Yeah.
I feel like possession. He possessed her body temporarily too.
Yes.
So
exactly,
yeah.
Because there was a part of his soul that was put in the diary. Voldemort's soul.
Yes, because that's one of the Horcruxes, I think.
Correct.
It's one of the Horcruxes. So, and then after that, of course, they end up in Dumbledore's office after everything happened. And
I have a
go ahead.
I have a question for you.
What's
So,
that?
was Moaning Myrtle the person that was killed to make the Horcrux?
Huh. I never thought of it like that. What?
Isn't that like who else has he killed?
I never thought of it like that before.
Because technically that would be the first Horcrux.
Wow. Wow. That my mind's blown. I never thought of that.
I only thought of it this time.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
For all
Yeah.
the future students watching this video, give me an answer.
Yeah, no, give us an answer. Please comment down below and tell us because that would be great. So then Dumbledore's talking to them after everything happened, and and then Lucius Malfoy walks in and says, "Oh, you're back. You're not suspended anymore." And they have this whole exchange of back and forth, and Dobby's with him.
Mm-hmm.
So we find out that Lucius is Dobby's master.
Mm-hmm.
And earlier, so this is significant. Earlier in the book, and way on when we first meet Dobby, Dobby says the only way that he could be free is if the master presents him with clothing. That's significant to this next part. So Lucius basically, snubs Dumbledore and scorns Harry, and then walks off, and he kicks Dobby, which I hated that. That was such an asshole move. He's a jerk. And then Harry runs after Lucius and says, "I have something yours," and he accuses him of being the one that gave the diary to Ginny.
Which, if you saw in the movie, in the very first scene when they run into each other, he dumps the diary in her kettle.
I rewinded it and watched that part again.
Yeah.
And I was like, and he did do it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh snap.
Yep.
And so basically Harry tricks him into freeing Dobby because he puts the sock in the book.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that's in the movie, because in the book it's different. In the book, he wraps the book in the sock, and then Lucius throws it
at Lucius, and Lucius throws it at Dobby, and Dobby manages to snag it.
Right. So either way, though, Dobby's free now.
Yeah.
And in the movie, when Lucius raises his wand and starting to threaten, he almost says Avada Kedavra. If you listen closely, he's starting to say Avada, and then Dobby says, "You shall not harm Harry Potter."
Yeah.
And then, okay, you gotta admit, Dobby's a badass in that scene. You got it.
I mean, he's powerful, without a doubt. He's powerful.
Well, it gets mentioned earlier in the books and in the movie that house elves are extremely powerful magical creatures, but you have to be an extremely powerful wizard or you have to be very well off in order to be able to have one. So you get a sense of how strong they can be, but also you get a sense of how strong Dobby is whenever he witches the bludger, because they said that it takes a very high-powered wizard in order to corrupt the bludger. So,
exactly.
Sorry.
Also, Lucius Malfoy is an idiot in that scene, at least in the movie, because if he was about to use Avada Kedavra, he's like 20 foot from Dumbledore's office.
Exactly, and also. He then tells Harry when he leaves, he tells Harry, "Your parents were meddling too, and you're gonna meet the same sticky end they did." So he basically threatens Harry with that. So, and then I think they have the ceremony where Hermione comes back. She's not petrified anymore. She's healed. And then Hagrid comes back from Azkaban. He's, free now. And that's kind of, I think that's kind of like, they have a whole celebration. That's kind of it, though. After the celebration, they just go back to the Muggle world. So
pretty much
that's kind of it.
There wasn't really much after that. Yeah. It just takes so long to get to that. The first in the book, it's like 5 chapters in before you even get to the first to the Filch's cat getting petrified by the snake. So all in all, I mean, we did the audio book, and the audiobook is 8 hours by itself. So
So I found, well, actually, I found an audiobook that was only 6.5 hours long, but the guy talks faster.
oh, okay.
So the 6.5 hours long. But
Gotcha.
oh shit. So okay, so now that we're into the review, I'm gonna ask the question that I think is actually pretty interesting. Because we couldn't think of a theme to, and this isn't really a theme, but I think it's a pretty good question. So, so as mentioned earlier, Ron gets a howler from his mom about, when he kicks the car. So this is actually what I'm going to pose the question to you guys and the viewers in the comment section. Did you ever do anything when you were younger in school that your mom would have sent you a howler for?
Oh yeah. I would have gotten one from my mom and my dad. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I did a couple things too that I would have gotten a howler for when I was that younger. So, Krysten, did you?
I honestly don't think I did.
She was a goody two shoes. You see that halo above her head?
Well, I was also a goody two shoes, but there was 1 or 2 times where I slipped up and I did something that my mom would have sent me a howler for. So I thought that was a pretty cool question to ask. Like, that's part of the movie. Like, it's a pretty cool part.
Yeah, that's a good one. Good job.
If you were at Hogwarts,
Yeah.
would you have gotten a howler in that time?
Exactly.
Okay, that was the second part I wanted to ask. If you would have gotten a howl at Hogwarts, what would have been for? What would you have done at Hogwarts to get you a howler?
Oh no.
I would have probably missed all of my morning classes because I stayed up reading.
If I did anything, I would have released all the magical creatures. I would have been like, be free.
Dangerous.
Honestly, I think I would have gotten in trouble for, I think I would have maybe gotten in trouble for wandering the halls at night, maybe. Like after hours, I would have been wandering the halls doing magic. So I think that's probably why I would have gotten a howl at Hogwarts. So yeah. So anyways, this video is already going to be long enough. So we're going to just kind of, end things right here. If you like this video, comment down below, subscribe, and like. Next time, we're going to do the Prisoner of Azkaban as the next one we're going to tackle. And also the viewers, let us know, would you have gotten a howler at Hogwarts? And did you ever do something in school that you would have gotten a howler for? We want to know. You don't have to say what it is that you did. You could just say, yes, I did. If you want to tell us, you can. So wait, Jacob, what did you do in school that what did you do that you'd have gotten a howler for?
I don't want to say.
Okay. I'm not saying either. I'm not saying mine either.
It wasn't like I would have been arrested, folks. I'm just telling you that. So it wasn't anything. No. It was just a stupid thing on my end that made my mom and dad very mad.
Same with me. Same with me. So I don't want to repeat it. So anyways, all right, guys. Well, I will see you next time. Thank you, Jacob. And thank you, Krysten. This is Kristen's first time.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. She might be in future reviews too. We'll see.
Heck yeah. If you'd like to join us.
Yes. Okay, well, we'll end the video right here. Bye, guys.
Have a good one, y'all.